Hey there team, and welcome to Minas Tirith. Well, to an evening battle on Minas Tirith. You may have seen this battle before, as it is going to be a bit of a impromptu one for me. It's not going to be jumping into the normal schedule of Wednesday and Thursday. I was going to just do this one and fit it into the standard schedule, but if I did that, it was going to be popping up in about a month, or 2 months more likely, so I thought, no, let's try and just squeeze this one in right now, so it should come out on Thursday. This is, of course, the battle that I played alongside, well, Beastie and Starkiller, who both have done a battle replay on this one. They're both on the defense, so if you're interested in that, there will be, well, their videos will be in the description. This is a themed battle here. We have Mordor, we have 3 Mordor armies, an Angmar, and a Harad. Now the thinking with this is, actually let's go up to 0.5. Yeah, we've got enough time during the deployment, I'm sure. The thinking with this is that we have 2 more middling tier, or lower tier Mordor armies representing the vast majority of the orc swarm to attack Minas Tirith. And then we also have Teabagger here playing as a very elite Mordor force, showing the sort of the best of the evil forces that have been brought to bear. Then also Angmar taking the role of the Witch King's sort of personal guard, from Minas Morgul, that's their choice, and then also the Haradrim, who are taking the far northern route. So let's zoom over the armies right now. Actually, let's start with Harad, because I want to talk about Ranch for a minute. After that, Valkyrian, or Valkyrian, yeah, I think we'll go for Valkyrian. He is Harad today, so he's got his Southron archers there, Serpent Guard, champions in Afarat, some pikes, Southron pikes, and dismounted Serpent Guard without armor upgrades, and Mahud Berserkers, good for that AP, and Trollmen of Harad. Over here a nice clump of Mahud Berserkers and Beast Hunters, then champions in Afarat, and of course the Demons of the Desert. So he didn't have any rules as to how he had to construct his army, it of course just had to be Harad. I do like that even though it's evening over here, because you are just shaded by the mountain, you're entirely in darkness. Then we have, as I say, the elite Mordor forces, with the Adunheim Shadowbows, the Melkor's Chosen, Olokai, Sauron's Well, and the Moranon Halberdiers. Then a nice blob of Sauron's Well, Blackguard of Barad-dûr, the Olokai again, they've been moved over here, Temple Guard, and Temple Executioners. Without an armor upgrade. Okay, cool, so they do look quite unpleasant and fearsome. More on halberds, and as I say, the Melkor's Chosen. I think Teabagger unfortunately deployed a bit too fast, so he's left these guys out on their own, but by the time an enemy runs out from the main gate of Minas Tirith, he should be together. Then my army, as I say, I've got much more of a horde focus. I've got my Moranon Guard out front. The standard Moranon units, though, are pretty solid for their price. Really not great in a fight, but they've got decent enough armor value and a little shield. So Moranon infantry, and lots of Moranon infantry. Orc maulers there. I like to give my orc maulers an armor upgrade. Makes them look a bit more fearsome. And giving an armor upgrade to shock infantry is always something I like to do. The Axemen of Lasanak is just such a powerful unit for that. Now they of course are nothing like the Axemen of Lasanak, but you know, you try and get what I'm trying to say. Then the Orc Javies, I've got 2 Orc Javies, I know. I grabbed the Olokai, I really would have loved to have taken some Mountain Trolls to sort of represent that as I say, I'm more of a horde focus, but that's the only, Olokai are the only trolls we get. Apart from, of course, the Troll Drummers and the Troll Catapult crew too. So they're drumming away. I usually don't take the Troll Drummers as Mordor, but because I've got so numbers heavy, I really felt I needed them. As I say, they're my Oak Javelins, and I've got 1 unit of Blackguard of Barad-dûr, so I do have some quality. The Uruk Captains there, that's where I've got my General, and I've got 1 unit of Sauron's Well too, so I do have some better quality mixed in amongst my force. Then once again, Y2K was not given any rules as to how he constructed his army, so he's gone for a bit of a mixture, I think. He's got his Angmar Halberds, but the front armor Guardians of Khazad, Guardians of Cardoom. Wish we had Guardians of Khazad-dûm. Is that a unit? Yeah, Guardians of Khazad-dûm, I'm not sure. Yeah, pretty sure. Then the Snaga Stalkers there. Angmar Marauders with... I actually don't know how to recognize that. They can receive an armor upgrade though. Snaga Stalkers and the Blackwatch Legion. Great pushing unit, but much smaller than the Blackguard of Barad-dûr. Then the Witch Realm Pikes and the Witch Realm Scourge Raiders, both once again with an armor upgrade. So it's not really uber elite that he's gone for, but he's gone for a lot of upgrades amongst his force and decent quality. Oh, and then of course Witchers we're spotting there. That's actually kind of... Oh damn, if I could have gotten him cheering, that's quite a cool shot. I definitely want to get Minas Tirith involved though, so we'll not probably go for that one. Then, as I say, Ranch. Now, Ranch was quite interesting because this was his first ever Medieval 2 battle. Not his first ever Reforged battle, his first Medieval 2 battle full stop. So that was a bit of a risky thing. Oh, he's actually still deploying. I should really go up to 1x speed. Well, you know, he's got a few veterans here. We managed to grab Y2K as a last minute addition because somebody couldn't really, their connection was sort of fluttering in and out. So he's got Orc Archers and Mordor Archers there. Then Mordor Infantry, double Blackguard of Barad-dûr, some Orc fodder, actually considerable amounts of Orc fodder, I think 3 of them. Mordor Infantry there with the Siege Towers, Orc Maulers again, armor upgraded for them to get through the sturdy Gondor armor, and Troll Drummers. I think, is that... Oh, no, he's got some more stuff over here. Olokai, Mordor Guard, Mordor Infantry, and Mordor Guard. Actually, oh dear, yeah, let's settle up here. So, as I say, when it was... when Ranch joined in, he has got Total War experience, but the big issue is just... Like, we see this with a lot of the time when people watch a few YouTube videos and then they jump straight on in. They don't really know what the units are all about. They don't know what's better than another unit, so it can be very risky. It can be a very, very dicey fight for them. But luckily, he, you know, he was asking us a lot of questions. He was telling us what he was putting in his army, so we were able to sort of guide him through it. And we really felt like he should be one of the Horde armies alongside me, rather than being the elite army. Just so that he has a lot more numbers to play with, so that if he has to, he can take those losses. And yeah, the Orc fodder are protecting him from any cavalry sallies. Now the enemy defenders are Dol Amroth, Gondor, and Numenor. So Gondor, of course, living in the city, Dol Amroth, the loyal vassal, and finally Numenor. The reasoning I like to think of this is there's some sort of Numenorian colony out there in the vast ocean somewhere, some little island that has remained pure. And they have arrived in the nick of time to try and save their descendants, or well, their fellow descendants of Numenor. But yeah, that's fair enough. But Minas Tirith being the outside Minas Tirith anyway, being so open and flat, you can do a lot of work with cavalry. So you should always be careful, be wary. That's why we do have our siege towers out front, and. Well, I was very worried that I didn't have any archers, because we've seen it in quite a lot of battles recently of Minas Tirith, where the enemy actually doesn't come out with lancers, they come out with horse archers, and they use those horse archers to just shoot into your lines, and that would be devastating to me. But luckily for us, Dol Amroth, led by Starkiller, only really has access to, what, 2 horse archers? Gondor doesn't have any, and Numenor doesn't have any, so it's not like we're facing up against Rohan here, who could flood the field with horse archers, and lancers to boot. I'm going to be zooming through their army as best I can, but Southern Men at Arms with that armor upgrade, so that's going to be very sturdy. More Men at Arms. Haven Guard there, is that where he's got his general? No, he does not have his general there. More Men at Arms. Gondor Infantry, led by Beastie. So he's got Tarnostian Spears. I don't really take Tarnostian Spears. What do I use as spears when I play as Dol Amroth? Don't really play as Dol Amroth too much anymore. Anyway, more Southern Men at Arms. Tirith Marksmen, we saw some behind too. Axemen Alasanak was just talking about them. Of course, everything nicely armor upgraded, as you're generally going to get on the defense, but especially with Gondor. Gondor Spears and Fountain Guard. Black Swan Renegades and Tirith Marksmen. Tarnostian Spears again. Numenorian Steel Bows from Katunka. He is the Numenorians today. Gondor Infantry and Seafarers of Nindamos. More Numenorian Shield Guard. Nimlothian Honor Guard. Raven Helms, Numenorian Cohort. Some Belagar Pikes, Numenorian Shield Guard. Pelagar Marines. Up defending the main gate tier, Gondor Spears, Wardens of the White Tower, Seafarers, and nice pike line there. Some more Fountain Guard, of course. The only unit of cav is the Mithrandir's Retinue. So that's, it was a mixture, really. It took a load off our mind. We knew that they weren't going to be sallying out where they could do a lot of damage to us. But I'm just kind of running my cursor over these units instead of sort of calling them all out. We knew that they weren't going to be able to sally out and really destroy us, especially with Melkor's Chosen lurking around. But it meant that they've been able to pour so much money onto their infantrymen. Up here, the Sentinels, the Shadowbows, and the Farsome Swordmasters with the Numenorian General. Nothing else, though. Everything is on this front line. So the rule of this fight that the defenders put on themselves was to hold the front wall with all they've got. Minas Tirith can really become a grind fest if the defenders fall back too early to this single choke point. It's really a bloodbath. Now, one thing that I didn't call out, I don't think, was the catapult of... There it is, yep. Y2K's catapult. We were allowed to take an artillery piece per team. The defenders, so Starkiller says that they decided not to, but Beastie says that they forgot. I'm probably siding with that they forgot. That, once again, not taking artillery and not taking cavalry just means that they have this massive amount of funds that they can just pour straight into their infantry line and their archers. So they're going to be able to use ammunition from their archers a little bit more freely than they would normally. And they're just going to really have their infantry buffed up as much as they possibly could have. So it's going to be pretty scary, and our Mornon infantrymen, who already were going to be a little bit too little, well, not enough to really deal with a Gondorian infantryman, at the best of times, are going to be pretty badly outmatched. Let's see, just in case I do forget to take a shot. That's kind of nice. Got some siege towers in the distance. Maybe something looking out too. Ooh, that's kind of cool. So we do have a lot of shuffling around. One thing that was amazing about this, it's the first time I've done it in a while, we had all 5 attackers in the same Discord channel. So we are communicating a lot more. As I say, that's why we were able to sort of give Ranch so much sort of guidance with his army composition, and why we were able to sort of work off what each other had in our armies, which is something that you never really get from text. You often do get some people saying like, oh, this is my army comp, and they sort of write it out in chat, but that doesn't really sink in. I find a lot of time people just ignore it, which is unfortunate, and that's on us. But yeah, speaking to each other was definitely a massive advantage, and I think the defenders were doing the same. But there's still no movement from the Mithrandir's retinue, which we were a little bit nervous about. You can do some good work inside of sieges, especially when the ground is as flat as it is in Minas Tirith. You know, that is quite nice to just rattle back and forth at people, but the pathfinding on the streets of Minas Tirith is dicey at the best of times. So if we could just save them from using that, that would be lovely. So we are getting a little bit of fire sent out from these Tirithair marksmen, and it's coming into the right side of these troops, but it's really hitting the Mornon infantrymen, and a lot of the fire is coming into our towers, which we've got more towers than we could ever use on Minas Tirith. You know, so we are more than happy to just let them use this ammo, and Ranch is just taking a few losses. It's not even lost 1% of our total forces though. So had all of this fire been poured into the infantry, a little bit more of a pain in the ass, but shooting into siege towers is just not really something you can get away with in Reforged. Been playing a lot of Divide and Conquer recently, and that's really a messy thing for the towers to be doing, just shooting into your siege towers, but it's not really something that we can get done here. So we're chuffed to bits that we actually managed. I think he has held fire. Oh, not yet. And then, of course, as well, because some of these men are slightly sort of bunched up and there's a few guys around, some of it is not super duper accurate. But still, Ranch is losing a few guys, which is always a bit distressing, but we were speaking to him and saying, dude, this is kind of what we want. It's never really fun to just say to a guy, yeah, like, just let your guys get shot. Because firing at a long range, spread out target is just never really going to be too great, whereas, you know, when they fire at us when we're clumped up inside, that's where it'll be really bloody. So Beastie's Mithrandir's retinue do come screaming out now. So we've got the Melkor's Chosen, and we do have those Serpent Guard too that are running on around. But Beastie locks eyes on the forces of Ranch, which is quite good because he is by himself out here. But I just sort of really disagree with his target. It looks like he's kind of coming in for... Oh wait, no, he's just hanging out there. This would be quite cool, just hanging out with the archer fire around you, close to your walls. But this is a real just nuisance because the siege tower's right here. And it looks like it was sort of ordered to come in and attack the unit that was carrying the siege. Oh, let's go to 1x speed now since we've actually got fighting occurring. Looks like they sort of came in to attack these more non-infantrymen. But that siege tower clumped them in place, and now they've been swarmed by the orc fodder, and they've really taken a beating. They're 2 hit point units, but even then, they break. And they break in the sight, within the sight of the Melkor's Chosen. And all I'm doing over here is I've got my Mordor Guard, and I'm trying to run up to make sure that they don't get to escape. Because if they do escape, if they get back to the city centre, then that's it over. And they'll be able to come back and slam us once again, so we definitely do not want that. But that was a nice little win. So we were feeling pretty high and mighty just there. You know, we've been able to use up a bit of the ammo. Sure, there's a few corpses here, but actually that's quite a few corpses. That's a lot more corpses than you'd think. But it's, you know, it's not so bad. Even a few blackguard have dropped, but, you know, wasn't the end of the world. And we managed to sort of disable one of these units. It did actually come back, but Y2K, with an aggressive move from his little trolls of Gundabad. I say little trolls of Gundabad just because we're on the field with Olakai today, and they are dwarfed by them. And Beastie just sort of didn't notice them coming back in time, so he is able to smash down a few of them. What have we got with that? Is that catapult opening up yet? I think not. Oh, it is! Yes, yes, it's almost actually blasted down this gate. Killed a handful of rangers too, so that was nice that we're on the walls. But, yep, Beastie does click. And he's still got 6 Mithrandir's retinue, and those trolls are without support. There's some more on guard from Ranch running on over here, but we can see just with one charge, they drop a troll, and it's just how deadly that unit really can be. But all the while, we're breaking down walls, we're preparing. That ammunition, it depends on how lucky you can be with a catapult. You're looking at either breaking 2 to 3. If you get very lucky, then actually, yeah, you know, you've got to hit every single shot. I think you can generally take down so you can take down 3 choke points. But spoiler alert, we take down 2. So Y2K, we were deciding, as I say, we were talking about it a lot. We wanted one hole here, and I think we go for another one right here. We'll see where he starts cracking into in a moment. And yep, this is the Mithrandir's retinue trying to get back, but I just clog up that gap. What I was worried about was he was going to run around me and go through that gap right there. I actually had that happen to me on a siege attack. My ally broke open a hole in the wall as I was walking past it, and the defenders flooded through with cavalry and just swamped over my army. I was very upset about that, but I should have been ready for it. Yeah, Serpent Guard there, just the right unit to swamp around them and get out of there. Now, this is kind of where our cavalry forces are a bit more limited. As I say, the pathfinding, especially they find in the left side of Minas Tirith, can be a bit shaky at the best of times. So cavalry is going to be far less in its power than it could be out here. You know, our cavalry was really brought to deal with an enemy sally, which now that that's done, we can start to focus on the infantry. So we actually were speaking, should we just try and tempt out our archer shots? So that's why the Serpent Guard and that's why the Serpent Guard are sort of placed right here, just to kind of beg the steel bows, like, oh look, there's a cavalry unit right there. Katunka, do you wanna just bring him down? You could take him down so easy with your armor-piercing arrows. But yeah, just one of these little tempting shots that we're hoping the enemy bite on. But Ranch has brought some archers. He's brought 3 units of archers, so he's going to be opening fire on them. Once again, we were just speaking about it. Just try to tempt some shots out of them. That's all you're really doing. You're not going to get kills with your archers. Your archers are there to make the enemy kill your archers. And when you're spaced out like that, they're never really going to get a good kill ratio. Well, a good amount of kills. They're not going to suffer too many losses. Veterans of Osgiliath there, moving off the front line. Tirith Marksman here. Yeah, so we're chuffed to bits about that. Starkiller's actually used up a full unit of Tirith Marksman ammo. Saying that, Alright, I thought a few of these guys had died. But, you know, we told Ranch, just, you know, fire off some arrows, but if they're not gonna, if you reach about halfway through your ammo supplies, they're not gonna bite. So just hold fire, and I think that that's what he does there. I just have my Mordor on guard here. Once again, if he wants to shoot at something, they're right there. You know, my spearmen were brought to ward off cavalry. And now that cavalry is no longer a threat, my spearmen are kind of not really worth as much to me as my standard infantrymen. So that's why I do have them up here. And also, if they do try to do anything, great sally. Oh, is that tower, does that tower function? Oh, it does! I didn't know that those towers worked. On Minas Tirith. Oh, wow. Well, that changes the game. Well, it doesn't really. Like, it's killed one man in a while. It took him quite a bit of time to actually kill that one guy. But so that's a tower. These are 2 towers. All right, so I am dropping from those towers. Jeepers. I didn't realize that. I thought that they were just for show. I didn't realize they actually worked on Minas Tirith. Oh well. I wouldn't have had them be so close then, because they're just sort of taking those arrows for the sake of it. Oh well, if somebody's going to do it, as I say, I'd be happy enough with it being the Mordor on guard. So we start to shift around now. Now that we have both breaches busted open, I had a chat with Y2K and he said, you know, I've got about a quarter, I've got under a third of my ammo left for the catapult. He didn't feel confident in being able to bring down another section of wall. And I thought, yeah, we've got 2 breaches, we've got endless amounts of siege towers, let's just kind of have at it and use the ammunition. I trust Y2K to be able to do that quite comfortably and just smash some blobs. He's got the Witchers and he's got the catapult. Like, those are 2 very powerful tools if used right, and I think he has the skills to do that. And yeah, definitely far better than I can. So I get my Orc Javies moved up here now, getting ready to just slam some javelins through. I'd love to just rush him on forward, get some jabs right into the face of these Fountain Guard, but he moves the Fountain Guard out of the way before I can do that, which is a shame. I could move there and get some shots right into the backs of these Belagar pikemen, and even the Numenorian Shield Guard. Hey, that shield isn't going to do you any good if I hit you in the back. So yeah, he opens up on me with the Warden's Minas Ithil, which is dropping a lot of my Orc Javelins. But it's just quite an expensive amount. Well, it's quite an expensive unit to be using for this, really. And if he's got a cheaper unit of Gondor Archers, perhaps, or even Marksmen of Caer Andros, that would be more, you know, that would be a better choice for hitting a unit as lightly defended as the Orc Javies. But the Wardens of Minas Ithil, Wardens of Minas Ithil will get the job done. And at the end of the day, once they do use up their ammunition, they're a 2 hit point unit that can be used in melee. So I move my siege towers around. I'm not planning to really push too hard on this left wall. The way we sort of divided it up was Harad was going to be pushing in the west alongside my initial wave, and then supported slightly by our elite Mordor army of Teabagger. I was going to be primarily pouring in through the main gate along with Teabagger, and then the right side, all along the right wall, was going to be a mixture of Y2K and Ranch be dressing. That was going to be theirs. So that was how we generally divided it up, and the defenders really have sort of Dol Amroth over here. Looks like a real sort of mixture, but primarily Numenor on the main gate, and then Beasties, Gondorians on the right side. So arguably the right side is the most important side, because if we push through there, that entirely cuts off their escape. But yeah, so I push my siege towers into place, but then I give a halt order in a moment, because we're not ready to start attacking yet. I just want to make sure, I want to actually see my men climbing the ladders to know that that siege tower is positioned properly. Because there's many times that it looks like it's positioned properly, but it's not. And yep, you see Y2K does the exact same thing here with his Guardians of Khardum, and it's just it's a good test. Whereas, oh dear, unfortunately, like this siege tower here is not actually positioned properly. It's right up against the wall, but because it's kind of slant in the ground, these are just lots of little quirks that you can only really learn by doing them in game. You can't really have this explained to you. So that's just the problem that you face. So unfortunately for Ranch, He's only really got one tower that is positioned properly at this time. When are we getting stuck in, though? Not yet. Oh, what was that? There was a shake. Let's see. Oh, maybe no, surely not. That was a real Grand level smash that we got for that camera shake. Was good. I want the shadows. I think let's go for this. Oh, that's good. As I say, I do like evening time battles or yeah, okay, yeah. We'll go for one of those. That's nice. So I don't have to worry about a screenshot anymore. I like evening battles. I like morning battles. It's just always fun to do something that's a bit out of the ordinary. Oh, there's a smash. Sounded like people got burned alive there. Nope. So we have opened up here. I think, unfortunately, Y2K has let his snag of stalkers get away from him, and he stopped them from. Well, he forgot to stop them from climbing, but they do get pulled back in a moment. But yeah, so they really aren't up there for long. The Knights of the Silver Swan will, of course, butcher those guys. Let's go to 1x speed because we are actually starting the fight properly now, or soon anyway. So I'm going to be coming in for the first wave, really letting my orcs take the brunt of the damage right off the bat. I don't really want his lightly armoured, or really barely armoured, Mahud berserkers taking this initial volley of fire. So I want my Mordor infantry to jump up first. Kind of just make a breach, and then the heavy hitters can come in and actually do the damage. But the important thing, of course, is to try and just strike in as many places at once. I get my drummers right here, so that the 100-meter radius should reach these guys. I don't think it will reach them all the way on the left, but it will also cover the main gate. Or this left breach anyway. Perhaps not quite reaching the main gate. My Mordor guard are going to be getting sliced apart by the steel bowmen who are out of ammunition and backed up by fountain guard. And now guards of his Gileath too. So he's got halberds and pikes fighting side by side. But I do get my Orc Javies up there trying to do some damage. I've got my Olokai coming in there and prepared for action. Actually, sorry, those aren't my Olokai. These are Teabagger's Olokai. So they're coming on forward. The Fountain Guard's AP is actually going to be quite good up against the Troll's heavy armor there. I love that massive Troll is just holding this tiny little torch in his left hand. That's quite funny. It'd be awesome if they had if they just had this huge torch, if it expanded with the size of his model. So I get my Olokai screaming through the gate now. I'm just trying to back up my really quite flimsy attack with my Mordor infantry. But the main damage dealers are, of course, the Nazgul. We saw them for a split second, but there they are. Yep, they are in amongst this force. And the Temple Executioners are coming in alongside them. So the Olokai are kind of my distraction Carnifex, if you're aware of that terminology. Kind of this big unit, like, hey, look at me, I'm a really scary guy. Focus your attention on me, focus your fire on me. And that's why I'm sprinting down into the back lines here, just trying to interrupt these seafarers. I think that Teabagger told me about that, told me to do that, and I was like, yep, that sounds good to me. But that's really where I want their attention focused, and that's allowing the Nazgul to come in and wreak havoc. So the Javs are wrecking us, though. But percentage-wise, we're 4% behind, but that's kind of not too bad a place to be in this early stage. Ranch is coming on forward. Athellan men at arms standing in the way of Mordor infantry. The Athellan men, and backed up by dismounted Knights of the Silver Swan. That's definitely what you want. The Mordor the Athellan men at arms definitely not as cost effective as their father nations, or not really father nation, I would say brother nations infantrymen, but still very good. Just as I say, perhaps not super duper cost effective. Oh, good axe throwing here into the Ravenhelms of Cairandros. Nicely armoured though, and of course those axes are not AP, but Ravenhelms lack a shield, and they do not have the Elven shield that Elven Swordmasters get. But yeah, just moving up my Mordor halberds, as I say, my army here is a shield for the elite forces of Teabagger. The elite forces of Teabagger, Jesus. The elite forces of my Mordor ally. To come on forward and actually do the real damage. All I'm there for is just to take the attention, absorb the javelins, and do what I can. But my halberds will do some good work, and my maulers too. On the walls, though, it has been an absolute massacre for my boys. I've actually sent over these orc maulers, they'll be getting sliced to pieces. But Now, the Mahud Berserkers have come in. You can see the mound of corpses. They're standing atop... Oh, he's managed to get away. Good, lucky boy. They're standing atop the mound of corpses from my Moron infantrymen. Oh, wow, I'm surprised at these guys. They're the furthest away from the Troll Drummers, but I guess it's just because they're up against a smaller unit size, the Royal Legion of Armenelos, that they've been able to kind of die slower. And being an elite men-at-arms, the Royal Legion of Armenelos are never really going to be able to kill people super duper quick. They're more about just standing their ground for a very, very long time. But yeah, my Orc Maulers over here now just do not too bad. Yeah, we are racking up some kills. They will be about to break. We saw them wavering there. But south are on pikes, so the original plan is kind of getting mixed up a bit now, but you've got to be fluid with these things. And percentage-wise, we're at 17 for 15 now. And with the Fountain Guard really kind of interrupted, and the Fountain Guard are going to be getting outranged by the pikes, if once the pikes actually set up properly. And I've got my Blackguard of Barad-dûr in shield wall, prepped and ready behind them. Just looking for an opportunity. The gate attack needs some more men. I think I've thrown way too many forces up on the walls. Oh yeah, these halberds are unfortunately facing the wrong way. Beastie pointed that out. In his video, unfortunately, he spotted that, but we are getting blasted to pieces, and the elites, Temple Executioners, only 19 of them left. The Nazgul, though, have not lost a man. I don't know where the Nazgul are. There they are. Can we see him? No, that's the general in amongst the Temple Executioners. You there. You are a Nazgul. You are not... Okay, well, there he is, 8. Oh, they have lost that. They have taken a casualty. Interesting indeed. But no, they will still fight for a while. Coming blasting through there now. Let's zoom on in and sort of see the real destruction that I've caused with that smash. Tearing apart the Fountain Guard and really breaching this open. Now, and we've also managed to turn that side of the gate defense around. So this is where I really want to funnel more troops in. But just about done, actually. Like, I really have... I've got my Uruk captains somewhere. That's not mine, but I think I've already sent my Uruk captains into the left side. Yep, I really came in hard for this push, and just tried to swarm them and tried to cut them off. Of course, what I'm trying to do here is just put up a block so that all of these troops are cut off from their fellow troops on this side. Shadow bows out of ammunition, that's always a great sight to see, even though they are going to be doing something in melee. Seeing them get sent forward is nice. And those berserkers, even though their defeat is certain, their AP and their high attack damage is going to be doing wonders up against the Gondorians. Especially these Gondorian spearmen, who are not really going to be able to output the right amount of damage to them. Oh dear, it's getting a little bit scattered there, well, a little bit patchy, as I should say. I sent some Orc Maulers here as well, actually. This was where I sent some of my men to go toe-to-toe with these Gondorian spearmen. That was a full unit of Gondorian spears. And I felt okay with the amount of damage I did. I wanted to secure this section so that I could rain javelins down from atop, and other units from my allies could jump up here. That's why I did send in that attack, but I was happy enough with the amount of kills I got for it. But yeah, that was still a full unit of Maulers that it took to get that damage done. Then, oh yeah, so this is generally a question that I'll ask right now, because we are having a little bit of trouble there, a little bit patchy, as I say. Would you guys prefer generally when it gets like this? Do you want me to lower the graphics, or are you comfortable with being the frame rate dropping a little bit, but it still is looking pretty great? So that's oh dear, yeah, it's. Can I deal with the graphics on the move? Unit detail, grass detail. Oh, I wish I could get rid of shadows on the move. Let's just get rid of vegetation. There's no vegetation that we need to worry about. I don't think it's going to help us too much, though. But yeah, a lot of jabs coming into my right, well, the right side of these Blackguard. This is actually Ranch's Blackguard. So yeah, you can see, unfortunately on Ranch's side, these siege towers are just really struggling. He's still trying to get this one, but Starkiller's just been able to keep him concentrated in one section. And oh god, that's such a blob. Do we have any rangers? Or do the enemy have any rangers? Because that would be absolutely horrific. But overwhelming the Othellan men-at-arms now. And Starkiller does still have to keep some troops here, just in case we do manage to get one of these siege towers set up. But that is really just keeping Ranch's forces contained for now. The Tarnostian spears coming in to reinforce this position, which is really where Y2K is putting most of his focus, just trying to barrel on through. and break down these men. Backed up by some Lothian Honor Guard, though, that is definitely going to be stopping it. The Scourge Raiders are up there. Over here on this left side, Guardians of Carndum doing their best with that armor upgrade. That will really help, but they're up against Numenorian cohort, which, as much as I like the Guardians of Carndum as a men-at-arms unit, the Numenorian cohort are a bit better. Oh, good, we just caught that. Yeah, so that was actually a lot of damage, and it's helping us. 42 for 39, and I think that's definitely, yep, that's a percentage point itself, just coming raining on in with that one shot. And that's really helping us out on the front line. Teabagger's coming in with his main line now. Of course, you can't really build, even Mordor with their really excessive amount of elites, cannot build an entire army around their elites alone. You do need to have some mid-line, but with a very beaten and bloodied line, we're getting our phalanxes into place, our armor-piercing phalanxes, and we're doing some work. Over here on this side, as I say, I'm pretty much done. I've got some Uruk captains remaining. I've got my trolls still drumming away outside, but I'm really low on manpower now. Dismounted Serpent Guard jumping up there. A really quality men-at-arms unit in their own right, which is good that Harad does have sort of quite a nice, well-armed, well-armoured, good fighting unit that can go toe-to-toe and even beat a lot of Western Kingdoms of men-at-arms. But the Numenorian cohort, again, they're standing in their way, and you just cannot beat them if you're not a dwarf. Berserkers, though, once again, coming toe-to-toe with the Gondorian infantrymen. Ooh, come on, run up that ladder, boys. You need to get moving. But Trollmen of Harad, they're actually chanting. I didn't know that Trollmen could chant. Ah, awesome. Well, that's great. Yeah, so just keeping them there, chanting away is a nice little addition. Ashari Stalker's not really been able to fire a shot yet. Royal Legion of Armenelos. I stumbled for a second there, but they're standing by. Pikes running away. Some Numenorian steel bows look like they're moving back, trying to find a target. Dunaim shadow bows, they're firing into the blob. Oh yeah. Oh right, good. Fire arrows from the enemy, of course, but that's a general dying on the wall. It was not my general. But these fire arrows are hitting in the back, so just as I was saying how effective this attack through the main gate was, we are actually losing ground now. Mordor Halberds breaking. Yeah, that's curtains there. Yep, that's it, all breaking. And lucky for us, we have sort of pushed through here, so they're not just running right off the map. They are sort of bolting in a sensible way. Sauron's well even getting out of there. And that is the gate attack, or the attack through the main gate anyway, pushed back entirely. Valkyrian is still here with his AP Beast Hunters with their nice little maces, but they're not going to last too much longer. Ranchby Dressen has his Blackguard of Barad-dûr, lacking the numbers to really do any pushing now. They are just standard men-at-arms, who will get sliced apart by the Numenorian cohort. Have I already sent my drummers in? Nope, my drummers are still there, still 9 of them. What, I think I still have my captains somewhere. Where are captains? I surely should have sent them in by now, but I do not know. No, but you can see we are sort of running low on reserves, but we're only 4% behind, which is really not a bad place for the attackers to be. You know, it's attackers are perpetually going to be behind until the defenders lose the ground. Once the defenders sort of make a major sort of loss on the ground and then they start to fall back, that's where the attackers start to climb back up. So if we can just stay within 5 percentage points, that's enough for me. I'm happy with that. But with us having a mass rout, as we have, Ranch has been sending over troops now, which is definitely a good idea. Once it's clear that you're not really going to be able to make ground in one area, and your allies are making ground, sometimes you should send some troops over to them and take more of a distraction role, which is what he's generally doing here. Would be lovely to let these guys push up just a little bit more and then swamp on down on top of them, though. That's a cool move. And yep, Starkiller is having to still leave some troops in reserve here. Perithal Champions even. Staring these guys down. What do we have? Yeah, some of my Orc Maulers there running off. That is a general dropping. Oh, that was a Numenorian general. No, definitely not. Just died next to a Numenorian. Seafarers of Mendemos are around here. Who could it have been? It must have been
This is a round where I thought my general died, but no, it didn't look like an orc that had fallen though. Oh, of course it would have been a Nazgul for me. Yeah, that's what my general looked like. So I get my orc javies there. Oh, I'd already moved them up. They've already run off the field, but I moved an orc javelin unit up here and managed to send, yeah, these are my poor boys, managed to send a few javelins into the backs of the enemy from that position. So I do still have this unit that I had them run on through here, backed up by the troll drummers. They're basically the only units I've got left, so, you know, might as well just send them on in. They unfortunately cannot be effective against your allies' troops, but I just start smashing down the Numenorian cohort. Very bloodied poor troll drummers there, but backed up by some of the Blackguard of Barad-dûr, we are going to be able to break through the what's left here. Ooh, that was my general. Yeah, I pushed through here. Yeah, this is because I managed to make contact with the Athelian Rangers. I just wanted them to stop, so that's why I jumped into that fight and gave our allies a bit of time to javelin the hell out of them. Which, for such a lightly armoured unit, never feels good to send javelins at rangers, but for the amount of damage that they can do, just lowering their DPS is quite something. They're still going to get all that ammunition out by the end of the battle, but no, it's still fair play. So I pull my... Oh, my troll drummers actually route there, yeah. So troll drummers are definitely not... I don't think they're locked morale. You know, I've been seeing them route a lot, and yeah, they're probably not listed as locked morale. I just always think they are when I see a troll. Either way, Orc Javi's now just tearing into the Numenorian cohort. There's the singular Sauron's Well captain standing his ground. He will be AP, because he is the captain of the Sauron's Well, which is an AP unit. So he'll be doing some good work. He got knocked down, but he gets back up. He gets back up. Yes, good, he did. I thought I was mistaken for a minute. I was so chuffed with this guy. So I'm just trying to send javelin after javelin into these Numenorian cohort and hope that this Sauron's Well guy stands. And then I can run around and start putting javelins into other foes. Who is this? Ah, yeah, Y2K now. Really having to take up a lot of the slack because the rest of us are dead. So he's stomped on forward through the main gate now, and trying to keep pressure on two sides though. There was actually a Dol Amroth led push here, which the Nimlothian Honor Guard followed through. It was made to try and grab the Witchers of Y2K, but they were punished for it and sent packing. Oh, what are you? I've never really seen them waste ammunition. Like, oh, maybe they're going for the Nimlothian Honor Guard. I don't know what they're trying to do there. Ah, it's a shame. You've really got to watch out for your archers because sometimes they just do dumb stuff. Ah, yeah, over here. Teabagger managed to get his Temple Guard up on the wall, but they were responded to. I think they only got one volley off, but still, they're good in a fight. Tirith Marksmen won't be a problem for them, but the Nimlothian Honor Guard are a different story, so they're losing ground just up against this massive, outnumbering attack of heavily armoured Gondorians that will slowly push them back across the wall. Burning Witcher fire though, so we did get off another quick volley, and we can see the Serpent Guard are running around inside. They have gotten some freedom, and now we can start to backstab a few foes that are not on the walls. Tarnossian spears, definitely a concern though. Is this my troll drummer? I think so. I think I sent my troll drummers over here, and just to continue to push through the main gate. Back up Y2K's pikemen. Orc Fellers getting in here now too. Orc Fellers, of course, nice bit of AP on them. Not really possible to give them that armor upgrade like the Orc Maulers though. But still, AP and lots of it is always useful. Where are my javelins? Are they still alive? I think this is maybe them about to run. Yeah, that's them broken now. It was just these few Numenorian cohort that jumped at them. But I did get off a few volleys, so I was content. And then I think we're down to my last unit, which is this Troll Drummer Captain, lodged right in the middle of all these Gondorians. Southron Pikes coming in. I was hoping that my javelins would come back, because they did still have, I think they still had 1 or 2 shots left, but for such a small unit, yeah, I wouldn't have really been able to do too much. Southron Pikes marching forward, though is very good as long as neither of these archer units turn and focus on them. If they can jump into melee, though, that is great. Still, pressure is being applied on the walls by Harad. Numenorian Corps, I do keep talking them up as this amazing men-at-arms unit, and they're very, very good at it. But Trollmen of Harad, with that AP, with just those 2 hit points as standard, is definitely another story. They might be sword and shield, but I would really struggle to call the Trollmen of Harad men-at-arms. I do think of them as more of a berserker with a shield. don't know how best to say that. My troll captain is still around though. You can see him occasionally giving out an order to his fallen group. That's kind of cool, actually. Yeah, we can maybe we'll look into that. You can see some siege towers in the background. It's quite nice. And it's my last heroic fighter, and that is him falling. I was really upset. I actually gave him the order to retreat. I just wanted to have a unit until the later stages of the game, but nah, he was stuck in there. He was going to fight to the death. These Southron pikes we were seeing, it looks like they came around here, and yeah, they were just minced by the Wanderers in Emmerdale. That's a shame. And yeah, if he had taken them out of phalanx, he could have gotten there faster, but in melee, those units would have beaten him anyway, I think. Yeah, Southron archers here. Some of them look like they were trying to take out their bows. They might have been tried to come in here to be used at close range shooting, but they've just not been able to do that. We are still 78 for 78, and as I say, when an attacker has got an even score with a defender, that's a great thing. So we were feeling hopeful, even though I didn't have anything on the field at this point. And the Melkor's Chosen are free now. We've still got these Serpent Guard inside, so we've got 2 units of cav inside the streets of Minas Tirith, charging in and out against these guys. As I say, the pathfinding inside of Minas Tirith can be a little bit funky, especially in that left side of it. The right side, from the defender's standpoint, the right side I always feel is a lot better laid out. The left side can be a little bit dicey. But we spotted this great opportunity for a charge. It may be the veterans of Osgiliath, so they will be able to do some damage in melee, but charging right into their backs like that, they're not going to break though. Their morale is too solid for that. We really needed a break so that Ranch could just flood on forward and chase them down. But still, these guys would return, of course, once they reach the city centre. So biting them down and slashing them to pieces with their massive maces is worth it for the Melkor's Chosen. Oh, that's an Angmar general that dropped there by the looks of things. So that's a shame. Died at the main gate. I think we've lost like all of our generals. So many of our generals have died in this little circle here. But the catapult is inside now. And as I say, we've still got a few shots with that. So it might be the attraction for a few archers. Oh, that's the Temple Guard general there. So that's Teabagger's general. Again, another general. No, it's a little bit further away, but still in this area just around the gate. And these last few Temple Guard, I've got another battle that won't be popping up for a while, but it shows a really good moment where these poor Nurad footmen are being like pressed right up against the edge of the cliff. So I really like this shot here too, with just a few Temple Guard getting shunted up against the edge by the Nimlothian Honor Guard. I really do like the idea of this Nimlothian Honor Guard with the massive shield just going, banging them back, Spartan style, just knock them off the side. You can do that. Well, I think people can sort of fall off the walls during melee and like Rome 2 and such. But I don't know, that is the type of thing that feels really buggy and scary to me. And I think it would happen at very inopportune times. Athelian men-at-arms here, capable of dealing with the last of these Orc Maulers, but every single slash from these Orc Maulers is going to be an AP smack. And the Western Kingdoms of Men, of course, relying on that armour. But with some decent level of defensive skill too. But even though Starkiller could win that, he wants to get out of here. He doesn't really want to just be slammed at by the Serpent Guard and the Melkor's Chosen forever, and the Catapult crew too. Oh, fantastic. There's of course T-posed man here. We've not seen anybody suffer this. Oh, he's one-armed. Oh, he's trying to do a T-pose, but he's lost an arm. Oh. He's just showing like, hey, this is the direction for, I don't know. I can't think of a joke fast enough, I'm afraid. But yeah, then more on archers. Ranch is doing a decent job just firing through the gaps. And we have finally secured the gateway. Taking fire arrows though. Blackguard of Barad-dûr with that massive shield they're going to be able to shunt off a lot of that fire. And the Melkor's Chosen are around. So finally, we have secured the bottom level at 84% for 84%.
This is something that I was really quite chuffed about with the defenders, because they said, you know, it's a rule that we're going to have to defend the bottom level. They're actually sending these men that have come back from routing, and they're sending them back forward to sort of fight and die down here. I thought that that was really nice, and that they were only going to leave a few units behind, because you can sort of get away with like, oh right, yeah, no, we're going to defend the outer level with everything we've got, but all the units that have routed and come back, so suddenly you've still got like a good portion of your army for the fight for the last stand. But they really made, they vowed that their last stand was going to be the last stand. So some of these guys are routing away as soon as they made contact, so you can't really blame them, but you know, hey, at least they're not holding back everything they've got, because they could send back these Royal Legion Environmental Loss, but I think they keep them back here, which is very nice of them. Moving on back, Teabaggers, Blackguard, and Barad-dûr standing ready for action. We still have all of the ammunition from those demons, those demons of the desert. The Witchers have used everything they've got though, and that catapult has been deserted. But the catapult crew lives somewhere. Can catapult crew hide? I don't know. Maybe they're hidden somewhere. But yeah, they're about. They are around. Now that's a kind of cool, weird little graphical effect. Yeah. The shadow kind of comes in. Nice. Sunlight is always fun. Tarnossian spears have a really cool looking spear. Maybe I should use them a bit more. More on archers here, out of ammunition, just trying to kill off a few more of them. Just outnumbering this way and just locking them in place for the Melkor's Chosen, or the Serpent Guard too. Ranch is finally making it down from his single siege tower. So many of his boys are dying on this wall. He's got that troll drummer unit. The orc fodder, I really do like when orc fodder survive until the later stages of the fight. It's not something you see very often, but it's really cool to me. Just, you know, it's like so out of place. These elite units that are just like, wait, there's only 10 men left in my unit, and you know I've got to slice through 200 orc fodder. You know, they can do it, but they're going to be in pain for it. And I think this is the last fight of the Melkor's Chosen. Oh no, there are still a few of them left. It was just one of them got stuck. There's still, what, 7 Melkor's Chosen running free. And they're only warmed up, boys. They're only warmed up. It's crazy, these elite units sometimes. Really menacing, that javelin. Really, really deeply unpleasant. The demons of the desert just definitely not wanting to use their ammunition on this sort of mob. Maybe if they could get like right there, it would be a decent enough volley, but apart from that, no. You want to save it. Southern Men at Arms trying to pull on through. I'm surprised at these Mordor archers that are like I think there's probably just, it's from the support of the Serpent Guard. Serpent Guard have to be careful though, because these are spearmen that are turning around and stabbing them. And yeah, I never really see, but I don't really see too much of the Serpent Guard. I think people do, like when they do have an elite lancer that's available for them, they'll usually pick the elite lancer. And that leaves behind the good quality lancers, even with that necessary buff they've received recently. So, you know, just still people don't really take medium tier lancers. Now the reason I don't do that is because my micro ability is really bad, and I cannot really handle more than 2 units of cav in a fight. But the reason why most people don't, I don't know. My micro's okay, but it's definitely not good enough to deal with more than 2 units of cav. Parathel Champions mass break here, which I was chuffed a bit with, because that's a lot of units that are just going to get grabbed. And we've climbed ahead for the first time in a long, long while. We're only 2% ahead. And as I say, these Wanderers in Nimrodale coming back down, it's a little thing, but it's just really nice that the defenders kind of stuck to that rule, and it was like, no, you know, these guys are coming back down, and you know, they'll kill off a few more. These guys actually started shooting, so we're like, oh, get the Melkor's Chosen stuck in there, boys, and get them dead. One captain of the very bloody Captain of Tirith marksman standing by. So yeah, they are just feeding them to the Melkor's Chosen, but it's kind that it was just really cool that they stuck by that, because you do often get situations where people make rules and then they just spend the whole game trying to break them, and it's like, what was the point in the rule if you're just gonna if you were just gonna like ignore it? So I was glad they stuck around with that. Still 33 catapult crew, as I say, so that's great. And but yeah, Y2K was able, I didn't actually catch it, but yeah, like Y2K performed some absolute wizardry keeping them away from the defenders. I thought they were goners like 3 times, but they kept managing to slip away. Uruk captains here, there's still 50 of them from Ranch, so they are going to be quite useful. Armor piercing, good quality, just, you know, yeah, nothing special, but, you know, just what you need. And in the back lines here, so the Royal Legion are men of loss. Yeah, as I say, for all the defenders have done, I really have no issue with them pulling the Royal Legion back. They've got some out of ammunition, Numenorian steel bows. They've got some marksmen of Cairandros, very battered and bloodied unit. A Dunaim shadow bows, some sentinels, Pilgrim Marines out of ammo again, and in the back lines, some Gondorian infantry and sword masters, Farazim sword masters, untouched sword masters at this stage in the game. Everything else we had a plan for. We have a plan for how we're going to deal with the sentinels. We know how we're going to deal with the steel bows. We know what we're going to do with the shadow bows. Everything we're like, yeah, we have the resources to deal with that. The issue are those bloody sword masters, because they are the single best unit that is left on the field alive. We do still have a fully untouched unit of champions of Nafarat. And as good as the champions of Nafarat are, they cannot deal with the Farazim Swordmasters. They can hold their focus, they can kill quite a lot of them, but in a 1v1 fight, they're going to get their asses kicked. So we need to be careful here, we need to plan this, and we need to make sure we use up all of our resources before we actually lodge ourselves into the proper fight. Let's nestle ourselves up here for a minute. So Pilgrim Marines, alongside some Gondorian infantry and something, I think that was an Southern Men of Harad unit. They come on down here, and actually the Melkor's Chosen jump up to have a little bout with them. Melkor's Chosen should be able to smash through that. Being such a high attack damage melee cavalry unit, you can kind of just leave them in a fight like this, especially considering they have AP, so they can do some good work. But it's you of course want to be charged in the in and out if you possibly can. This is the Tirith marksman captain we saw from earlier. Witcher on Pike from Y2K, wavering though, so that's risky. So the attackers, well, my allies here, I'm totally gone. I should state that. I've been gone since about 22,000 frames. I was finished. So we have just been observing this from my point of view for a while. Witcher on Pike's falling back there, yeah. I think it was just a case of trying to deal with this quite efficiently, which I think we generally did. Catapult crew come up there. Of course, it's a very tempting target, but any attacks they really make against the catapult crew is a bit of a risk for them. They've got to come downhill, they've got to come away from their defensive position. So I'm going to stay on 2x speed for a while, just because it's a bit of a steering contest and it's a lot of planning on our part. But because Ranch has suffered that sort of nasty glitch over on the eastern side of the wall, he's still got quite a lot of troops left. And as I say, he's got a lot of these orc fodder. So if we can tempt out some shots from the shadow bows or anything into these middling tier quality Mordor infantrymen and orc fodder, then that's exactly what we want. So the steel bows, once they take out their sword and shield, they're basically a unit of Numenorian cohort. And they're going to be able to slice through these poor Mordor infantrymen without too much issue. Oh wow, that's really nice, isn't it? Let's find a nicer spot. Yeah, there's great. I like that. So, orc fodder coming on forward. As I say, we're just taking fire and wearing them down. And hopefully killing a few too, of course. Melkor's Chosen, pottering about. Let's go up to, let's go to 1x speed. I'm happy enough just powering through this. It was a fun fight. Nimlothian Honor Guard coming on back. There were still one or two of them that did manage to escape. Ranch's Troll Drummers coming on forward just to keep these guys, because we need oh damn, with these fire arrows, we need these guys to stay in the fight for as long as possible. Now that morale debuff from fire arrows, does it matter how much fire is going off at once? Or is it totally like, is it going to have the same effect if there's one guy burning in the unit as it would be if there's 10 guys burning in the unit? Because that's, if so, then this small unit of Marksmen of Cairandros is really powerful as they just rain fire into us. But still, Troll Drummers are doing their best. Orc fodder broke in there, but even with a Troll Drummer right behind you and the Uruk Captain's not far behind, it's always going to happen. The Orc fodder are going to run away. But I'm not going to count, but I'll make it very clear that those Orc fodder run away and come back and run away and come back about 3 times. Then Shadowbows do manage to find a nice little spot. We've got the Stalkers, they've not used up much ammo, and we've got the Adunab Shadowbows who really haven't been able to use much ammo because we came in so quickly and so aggressively. Our elite archers just couldn't really do much. The Temple Guard really tried, but as I say, we saw what happened with the poor Temple Guard. You know, butchered to the last on that wall, there was no escape for them. But the Adunab Shadowbows now can try and show their worth.
And when it gets to these later stages in the fight, you know you're not going to get massive amounts of kills with the shadow bows. You're just trying to do whatever you can. And if they can just sort of slice through a few of the enemy shadow bows, that might be enough. We do have a push from our blackguard, just getting stuck right in amongst the sentinels. Even if we can't really push through them, if we can just gain ground, get stuck in amongst their pike range, that's sort of enough. Oh, well, nice organised unit of siege towers over there on the far side of the map. Still fire arrows coming on in. Orc fodder. This is their first return to the fight after routing. We've also got the Serpent Guard there. But of course the major tools we have are the Demons of the Desert, and the Demons of the Desert, the Uruk Captains, the Catapult, and the Champions in Afarat. Those 4 units are kind of our saving grace here, because we outnumber them so massively. But Ranch's army here is not going to do much damage to them, even though they've really sort of broken their lines, and we are killing off Sentinels. Sentinels may not have 2 hit points. I think they might have used to. I think they did used to. They may not have it anymore, but they're still a very good quality unit. So we can start striking them down. It's great. This ammunition, though, from Katunka, he's careful with it. He's waiting for his opportunity. Farzam Swordmaster's not jumping into this fight right now, but just getting closer. But I think they saw that we were getting shots landing nearby them and they ran away, which is sensible, for sure. Steel Bowman coming on forward. We were very chuffed to see these Adunai shadow bows coming into melee. You know, that's always, as I say, it's such a great sign. Troll Drummers trying their best in melee there too. We'll jump it up a bit faster, I think. More on archers coming on back now. Jeepers sake. Shadow bows, yeah, so we can see them raining shots like quite effectively now through the shadow bows. When I say quite effectively, it's all relative now. You know, like, you've got to think of like, yeah, okay, they're not getting monster shots, but in comparison to what they could be, they're doing all right. And they're returning the favour by shooting into our Hishari Stalkers and our shadow bows. You know, our ranger units. Damn, the Blackguard breaking, that was a real shame, because that was our last hope of actually just busting through this. Now it's got to be a grind. But nobody really grinds much better than the Uruk Captains. Uruk Captains up there, I was pretty content, and especially if we managed to tempt the Naru Sentinels downhill a little bit. Speaking of the captains, here they come. If we just tempt the Naru Sentinels to come down the hill a little bit, so that their height advantage, so that their pike animation is stabbing over the top of our men. You know, we see this all the time when people try to defend Edoras with pikes. It doesn't work out well. And if we can get them on very slanted ground, like right here, jeepers sake, that's such a steep climb. Even though we're going to be fighting uphill, the Uruk Captains are going to have such an advantage against them, because it's only going to be one line of pikemen that's able to be used at once, instead of like the 3 lines of pikemen at a time that you can often get. Steelbow's opening fire now. It looks like they're going for, they're firing into our Hishari Stalkers and such, but once again, that's okay. Like, I prefer them to do that rather than even the Sarons, well, but mainly the Champions in Afarat. Champions in Afarat is the unit that we need to get stuck up there in as good a condition as possible, so that they've got the best chance of being able to take on the Fires and Swordmasters. These Uruk Captains here, as I say, like, look at that. All these guys in the back lines just can't do anything. They're stabbing mid-air. So that's just leaving even these Orc fodder and Mordor archers are loving that fight. There are a few of the Royal Legion left, or that might just be the general or the captains of this unit. No, there are some proper Royal Legion of Armenelos. That's a great sight to see for the defenders. But the Uruk captains, the general there, unfortunately that's not a full-on Nazgul, but at least the general is amongst the men. They're going to keep fighting. And we're getting victory is certain all the way along the front. And now as well, because they've moved down, we're getting much better shots into them with our rangers. Sentinels, really not going to go down too quick to ranger fire, especially not low damage ranger fire. They've got the shields, they've got good quality shield, they've got great armor. They're the people that the Herenidine pikemen really want to be, but can't with their little sort of shield. I love the Herenidine pikes, don't get me wrong in that. But still just grinding away. One Uruk captain has been lost. A lot of others will have definitely taken a lot of hit point damage. But those sentinels are really struggling now, and they're starting to take some good losses. What do we still have from them, archer-wise? Yep, still some more marksmen of Caer Andros. 5 of them coming in with these shots. They're, oh, and some of them even sort of hitting the ground there, which is awesome to see. Yeah, a few of them. Yeah, no, it's definitely still worth it though. You don't really want to be moving those guys around too much. If you got this sort of shot, that's fair enough. So is that Beastie's last unit? I think so. Yeah, Beastie's just able to micromanage those guys as much as he possibly can. A few guys glitched out in the back there. Just a few pikes. They could really be quite useful up here. Some spearmen, Gondorian spearmen and Tarnostian spears. Definitely what you would love to see on the front lines, but it's a shame that they are not. Farsam Swordmasters do not want to be put in too early because of the threat that the demons pose. So we kind of see this fire damage from the marksmen. I think those Ashari tried to give them a volley, but they're just tucked away so nicely that we're not really going to be able to hit them. Ah, dearie me. Yeah, Numenorian steel bows though. Even once they do use up their ammunition, that's a full unit of Numenorian steel bows. They're going to be quite effective. And, oh wow, yeah. Look at that. Like, we were joking about like Skyrim horse bullshit. Like that's, yeah. Oh my god. Like we can look straight up. That is exactly. You know, we're seeing right at the top of the skybox there. This is how steep these guys have climbed. So steep even that their model has been stretched. We just were shocked by that. It was so silly, but we loved it. And we managed to sort of get stuck into the mark. Of course, what his plan was to slip around here. Sort of much more logical. Let's go to 1 speed because we are getting some crazy stuff happening. But they're stuck in that fight. Of course, the seal bows are coming on in now, and I think it was just how chaotic it was. We couldn't really think of what to do. But what he, of course, should have done was have run up here and then run all the way around. It's a long way, but the Serpent Guard are fast. So, yeah, and no, we weren't going to, after a battle like this, we were definitely not going to back cap anything. But just the fact that something was behind them, they might have pulled a unit away from the front line to go and deal with them, which would have been very nice for us. But we definitely were not going to end this with a back cap. That's not how we wanted to play this. But still, the Sentinels, taking it down to a balanced fight now. How are those Uruk captains doing though? Still 42 off them. Now of course a lot of hit point damage will have been done to those 42 captains, but in the process they've taken out 20 of the Naran Sentinels and a lot of their support. You know, we're not really seeing any of these Royal Legion. Some Royal Legion are over here, but there's only 6 of them now. And those Mordor archers did really, really well on the front line. But still, when it's all done, those Numenorian steel bows are just going to jump into the fight. They'll kill at least 80 men, I'd say. But those Uruk captains should be able to smash through them with their armor piercing, of course. Sentinels are now dropping quite badly, down to 40. I think the captains are about to outnumber them. Yeah, 41. They outnumber them now. So it is getting to that very frightening level now for the defenders, as we are 94 for 95. Now, of course, we're only slightly ahead, but they are all that we've really got left are elite units, and are soon to be out of ammunition. Rangers, the Adunam Shadow Bows, let's say they're out of ammunition now. That was the general for Ranch, unfortunately dropped, but you know, you gotta do what you gotta do, and that's the Orc fodder running away. More non-archers running away. That was a bit of a shame, but still, the Uruk captains are going to remain in that fight, and with a long way to run back, they will return. I think the Orc fodder get all the way down to here this time before they come back. But yep, champions in Afarat coming on forward now. We felt we needed them. The enemy sword masters had come forward, so now we need to send in our champions in Afarat. Because the front line is going to be getting dissolved if not. Yep, still some sentinels, but very few left now. They're fighting on flatter ground, so they are going to be able to work properly. Still some Serpent Guard and even Uruk captains, but those Uruk captains, as much as I talk them up, as much as I like them, they are going to get butchered by the Farazim Swordmasters. Just about everybody gets butchered by the Farazim Swordmasters, though. Champions in Afarat, though, are stuck properly in the fight now. And, yeah, the steel bows have seen their target. They have been waiting for those champions, because they know that even though the Swordmasters should win that fight, if they can give them a helping hand, it's definitely going to be useful. Stalkers coming on forward now into melee as well. And I think that's us almost fully sent in. But we do have that catapult. We do still have that catapult. And the demons too. So those Fires and Swordmasters are suffering defeat as a certainty. Probably from a few of the Uruk captains that are still remaining. We're looking at them there. Yep, still 22 Uruk captains, along with the full unit of champions. So the Fires and Swordmasters, as good as they are vastly outnumbered by elite 2 hit point units. Of course, they are uber elite. They are better than them, but you know, it's something to be worried about. A lot more fire coming in. The demons managed to push all the way through. There's still 44 of them in that unit, 42 now. But the Shadowbows will have, Steel Bowmen will have their number. Of course, not really caring about the armor piercing, but just the very high damage that those Steel Bowmen have. But just worming their way through, the champions in Afarat doing their best to get the demons through. If those demons can form up here and get a volley into the side, that's a beautiful shot. You can kill, you know, one volley, they'll throw them around. The second volley, they'll kill them. But because half the unit is still stuck in there, they're running back. They're trying to pull together, as the unit is sort of naturally naturally inclined to do, and they're just not able to get it done. So they're just going to be getting volleyed. Yep, Steel Bowman shot coming in, and that's going to be, yeah, just had to come in while they were clumped up like that as well. So they do get set up though, and even 15 of them, that's all it's going to take. And so we're giving them attack. Well, he's giving them attack order after attack order. Please, just do it, just do it. It's this, the sword masters come on over, but he's going to stick them in. He's just going to hold fire. But no, this guy even raises up his javelin. He's even ready to do it. But no, they're just not having it. Steel Bowmen use up. Oh, don't even think they use up their ammo. They just come on forward into melee now, just to try and trap them. So that was a shame. Those demons just couldn't get their payload off. But still, we have got our champions. 42 of them though. But those swordmasters, sorry, are still at 41. And the Uruk captains are gone. I'm not seeing a single Uruk captain. There's still one Sauron's Well. Ah, nope, there's 6 Uruk captains, sorry. I think we're about, yep, we just witnessed one die, unfortunately. But catapult crew pushing on up. Orc fodder glitched out here. They ain't coming back from routing. Some more non-archers have come back from routing there. They could do with getting up to the fight too. Just for a little bit of aid. We're at 96 for 96, so we are tied up now. Our thinking with the demons was just to try and run them away, so that they could get a volley used, but the steel bows have their number, and they're going to stay right on them. And yeah, no, there's nothing we can really do. So we just tried to run away and pull the steel bows off the front line, see if we could maybe win on the front line without them. And yeah, no, it's not really turned out too well. Over here though, catapult crew trying. Yeah, Y2K is able to sort of pull off I think he does sort of send a shot flying right past the Marksman Carry Andros. I watched, yep. Oh, he does actually hit 2 of them actually. I think Starkiller's got an amazing shot where he's just like sitting right here looking over the front line, not really seeing the catapult, and then the catapult ball flies right past his face. So that's quite funny. But yeah, no, as much as I like the champions in Afarat, they've just been countered quite well by the Swordmasters. He actually pulls through them. Oh yeah, this was quite cool. He sort of pulls through them and he gets sort of a backstab on the Swordmasters. But those steel bows are going to be returning sometime soon. And now that the demons have run into the centre, they've actually activated a few of these units. These pikemen now. Oh yeah, that was good, yeah. So now that the pikemen were woken up, Katunka can just have the pikemen chase away these last 2 demons and send the steel bowmen back. Are the demons going to get off a volley into the pikes? Oh, come on, Demondos. Nah, they're not going to have... Yeah, I think he just charged them in. He knows that he didn't have time to get them done. So they are just butchered there. Their hit points would have been expended. They do have 2 hit points, but they're just so fragile. They might have a bit of defensive skill, but even then, lacking any sort of armor or any sort of shield, you die real fast. 12 champions left. We take them all the way down to 23 Swordmasters. I think we might even get more than that toward the ending stages of this fight. I'm going to pause it just before the end, just to have a scan around the battlefield before we get the ending battle screen popping up. That is the General of Harad dropped valiantly as the sort of fighting amongst the champions in Afarat there, but no, it was not enough. And the steel bow is coming back. That just really is the icing on the cake. Catapult crew trying to do what they can. These orc fodder are getting chased away now, getting sort of activated by that touch, just in the same way that we've sort of activated their glitched out units. They've done it with ours, but instead of theirs waking up and coming back to them, ours wake up and run off the field. So we'll pause it there just because I'm a really forgetful guy and I'll probably forget to do it. So we can see the absolute bloodbath there. We took them down to 97%. Don't think it's going to go up 1 more percent though. A few of my javeliniers there. A lot of bloodbath going, well, a lot of blood there. My troll drummers tried to push through that position, smashed into the Numenorian cohort, but it's basically blackened by corpses. A few silver dots, of course, but mainly orcs. I like this little, oh god, this corner, just this pile of corpses just squished up against there. But yeah, all of that. Along the walls too, lots of corpses there. This is such a cool thing about medieval too, just like going through and just seeing all the piles of bodies and just remembering where you fought. Yeah, this was such a spread fight. Everything here was so much more contained, but here it was a lot wider and a lot sort of more sparse. But no, the Temple Guard trying their best here, but the Numenorian Honor Guard was a good counter for them too. No combat along those walls. A few guys sort of shot down. Yeah, it must have been ranged, or maybe a charge. Either ranged fire or a charge, taking them out. One very unfortunate individual. Carrying on over. I think I'll go up to 1x speed now, because we're pretty much over. Yeah, this was the nice big blob of Ranch's forces. And yeah, of course, the men fallen outside, but there wasn't really too much of a scuffle outside. You do see a lot of men actually dead. Yeah, so I wasn't aware that Minas Tirith actually had working towers. That's definitely going to change my thinking a bit. I don't mind working towers in PvP scenarios, but as long as you're taking them into account when you're sort of giving up money a little bit, and I would never want them to be higher than level 1. I think higher than level 1, the towers just become too powerful. It's just so devastating. But we'll jump through my kills. Well, we'll jump through all of the Mordor kills first. So as I say, when I do these sorts of things, I don't spend as much time going over them, but I'll just call out some things that are a bit strange. 3 kills for those poor orc maulers. That was a really, I think there must have been some guys that jumped up on the walls. Just absolutely butchered there, or maybe shot down somewhere in the gateway. Mordor infantry never really going to be able to rack up too many kills, but still, I don't know, because I was at the raid limit for orc maulers. So I don't know what I could have chosen instead of Mordor infantry. As I say, keeping in the theme, I really would have. I was a bit stumped. I would have loved to. Well, under a lot of circumstances, I would have taken a Temple Executioner, but I like themed fights. I really do. They're a lot of fun. Blackguard. Maybe I should have ditched some more infantrymen and grabbed another Blackguard, just to do another push. That's what I probably should have done. Of course, I would have had to, because I had just melee upgrades on everybody. I think every person in my army had a melee upgrade, even, of course, the Orc Javelins. You can see here, yeah, these, both Orc Javies were able to send most of their ammunition downrange. So that's pretty good. Olakai, 100 kills. That's pretty dandy. And Troll Drummers, of course, only 3. Teabagger there with our elite forces. Pretty dandy across the board. Nazgul only getting 98, but they were in a real hot zone for ranged fire. They were... And we didn't really shield them as well as we should have. I shouldn't have sent so many men up on those walls, and I should have had more of them shielding the elite forces of Teabagger and the Nazgul, particularly. Temple Executioners as well, as I say, they were shot to pieces. Sauron's well, doing what they can. Melkor's Chosen though, great stuff. Was really chuffed with how we were able to use those inside. And the Olakai, good. Shadow Bows, relative to, as the situation at hand, they did all right, and then the halberds there just being a little bit of meat for the grinder. And then Ranch, we'll see in a moment, but yeah, Ranch did really well, as I say, for his first game especially. Uruk Captains killing so many elite units, just a solid bunch of guys there, those Uruk Captains. And Archers, actually 62 for those Mordor Archers, good stuff. How did the Orc Archers do? 21? Yeah, good. And then Infantrymen, 60, good stuff for those guys, and 60 for them too. And Olakai 91. Good. This was something that we were like shocked by. 186 kills for the Mordor Guard and 117 for those guys too. He must have used them in like shield wall and just got an amazing like push through, but we were and then like grabbed a bunch of prisoners with those guys as well. It's awesome. Yeah. Anyway, then looking at everybody as a whole, was chuffed with how everybody played, I guess. Yeah. I think the attackers as a you know, we were mentioning this, like, we shouldn't have gone so hard on the walls. The walls should have you should attack the walls, but the walls should be a distraction. The walls are to pull enemies away, whereas we kind of, you know, we went way too hard on them, and I think that, like, I lost a lot of men on the walls when I really shouldn't have, and I should have sent them in through the main gate, but not bad. And then yeah, Valkyrian, maybe there's, because it's so close, and like what I would have maybe even thought was actually having the demons fight in melee in those front lines. The demons and the champions fighting side by side against the sword masters could have maybe, I know we wouldn't have been able to use their ammunition, but maybe just a few of them would have survived to use their ammunition later. But that could have been an idea. But still, we were chatting amongst, you know, I could have raised these thoughts during the fight. I was feeling very confident though. I thought that we had that. I really thought we had that up until really close to the end. Yeah, no, and this was the other thing, like, you know, the sort of glitching out on the right side, just getting those troops in the center could have been really lovely. What I really wish is I had recorded the audio of our chat. Like, Eclipse actually has done that. Actually, sorry, was that Eclipse? Yeah, it's Eclipse. Eclipse has done that with one of his, well, with two of his battle replays, where he went and did the recording afterward, but he overlays the chat that everybody was doing in the Discord channel at the time. And I thought, like, I think that's such a cool idea, and I really would like to try and maybe do that at some point, but might just get a bit too salty, who knows. Beastie, yeah, racking up a lot of kills. Is, you know, disagreed with a few of the shots he called, of course, but no, all in all, massive kills against us. Good sort of Gondorian steadfast defense. Gondor is just awesome in this sort of scenario, and like showed that they can be very powerful in it. Very appreciative of just defending the front lines. And when it comes to a Cav Sally, I just don't think, when it comes to a Cav Sally off a 5v3, it needs to be a big devoted Cav Sally. Like, I think that Starkiller mentioned in his video that he thinks his allies maybe expected him to take Cav. And I don't think he said that, no, I'm not actually taking any cavalry. Because had they come out with, I think if you're going to do a Cav Sally, you need to come out with like 3 units of Cav. I think coming out with just 1, it's so easy to just zone you out and blast you. But the boys know that, and it didn't matter. And like, I really liked that they poured so much money into their infantry and archers, because that led to it just being an absolute bloodbath, with our guys just kind of outmatched, but just doing the best, and just overwhelming them with numbers. Starkiller, as I say, defending that left side and then moving around as he should, was pretty good stuff. Once again, sort of disagreed with a few of the shots, but that's what's, you know, is what it is. And then Katunka being the final defensive line, the elite of Numenor standing their ground, and great use of the seafarers throughout, I think, too. But just Numenorian cohort dotted around the whole front line is so tough to deal with, because they're sort of, to me, I feel they're almost an elite unit in their own right. You know, they're just so good. I love them. But yeah. Thank you guys a bunch. I don't know if there's anything more. I was gonna do this as a duo commentary with Beastie, and I would have really liked that, but it was such a long battle. Like, I've had to do 3. Hopefully I've cut it quite nicely, but I've had to do 3 interruptions during this battle, and yeah, it's just tough to do stuff like that when you're doing a duo commentary. So I will try a longer duo commentary at some point, but it's got to be, I've got to basically make sure that nobody's going to be bothering me during the recording. But yeah, thanks guys, and I'll see you in the next one.